Hey, Billy.
Hi.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm John Stern.
Hey, John.
Good evening, Mr. White here.
Great. Hey.
It's Melissa.
Yay. Hello. Welcome.
Kelly Huddleston.
Yay. Welcome. Rosie, help me. Do we have some others that are on that haven't said hi? Or said who they are?
I think we're good right this second.
Okay, great. Oh, I heard a doorbell.
It's two. D is got two open, and then she just closed. No, let's see.
So that's Melissa that just came on. It looks like.
No, I've been here.
Okay, so.
We
somebody's
got two.
back.
D iPhone is in there twice.
Right.
Oh, okay, so that might be Mr. Dearest. So whoever is D at home, take one of yours off so we will know, because that's what the hacker did before. He came in under people's names that were already in there. So if somebody is on their laptop and their phone, cut off one of them so that we won't see you in there twice.
He did.
Okay.
He did. We're good.
Okay,
I think.
that's good. Well, I am going to turn it over. Mr. Saeed has presented to us before. You all had some different things that you wanted him to look at, to do, to change. And I know that he has worked his plan a little bit and was very open for any changes that you all had. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Saeed. I am going to ask that you all let people besides put it in look at the chat, Mr. Saeed as well, to get any questions over there, but kind of make sure that the questions flow, not just one person doing all of the questioning. And if somebody sees something that we didn't catch, just say it so that we can catch it, or the person who's asking the question can have their question answered. Okay? I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Saeed now. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Lee, and thank you everybody for being here. So we had 3 meetings, 2 previous meetings. This is the 3rd one in regards to this project. The address is 3165 and 3163 Anderson Road. There's a house there and the land is behind the house. Previously, I wanted to rezone it to mixed use so I can bring a neighborhood market. And I also wanted to put a coffee shop there. It was kind of controversial. You know, some people were supporting, some people were not. I went and I asked the neighbors. Some of them said yes to it, and some said no, we're against. We got Compton's Market. We have another coffee shop there, which is, the coffee shop is not in District 33 anyway, but it was kind of controversial, and I was able to meet with Mr. John Stern. We had a very productive meeting, and we kind of brainstormed and spoke about the project. So basically, what I saw last time was just kind of, you know, I don't want to say controversial, but a lot of people said no to a mixed use and more welcoming to residential. It was going to be residential in the back, and the front was going to have the coffee shop, and I was going to put the neighborhood market. Most of the areas in Nashville, like good areas like Brentwood, Franklin, nowadays are having mixed use all over, and it's bringing a lot of add value to the properties next to them in these areas. I'm not sure why District 33 doesn't want to have any kind of mixed use, but I'm gonna move on and I'm gonna do what everybody wants. I'm just gonna rezone it to residential. I'm very open to your suggestions, but I cannot do an age restricted uh, group there, unless I do townhouses. If you want me to do an age restriction there, I have to do townhouses, and it's gonna be a large number of townhouses, because this is gonna be a huge development. And if we do an age restriction, but now the plan I have now is just doing RS residential, RS 7.5, which is gonna bring me almost 48 houses. And that's, I went to zoning and I spoke to them, and they're welcoming having the residential, because they also were again putting mixed use over there. Just as a reminder, if you would like, I can just go ahead and share my screen and show you the three. Is there a way that I can share my screen? It's kind of disabled.
Yes, I think Rosie can enable that for you.
Okay. All right.
See if you can see it, Mr. Said.
Yes, right now I am on it.
Are you able to see it?
No, unfortunately not.
Try that, see if you can see it.
All right, these are are you able to see the screen now?
We can see a screen, but you need to click on the one you want them to see. You've got, we're in your folder.
I've been clicking on that screen, but it isn't sharing for some.
Well, we see your desktop, Sammy. So-
Yeah.
So just double click on PDF one, the first. I think that's your first street layout, isn't it?
Yeah, it has the first layout, but I clicked on it twice and it's not.
Try again.
You probably, do you have several screens?
No, it's
Monitor.
just one. It's just one screen.
Can you right click and put open, click open?
Yeah, it's open now, but it's not sharing for some reason. Let's see. So
You may just be sharing your file explorer and not the other programs, not your desktop.
but this is the same way I shared it before. Okay, can you see it now?
There you go.
Okay. So this is the initial plan right before everybody objected having a street there. So we had extended Hamilton Lane all the way down to Anderson Road. Some members of the community said, "Oh, this is going to create traffic," so we had to close it right there and just create an egress just for emergency, which will show in this plan over here. Right there. So plan 3 has just the entrance from Anderson Road. That's where the initial plan for the neighborhood market and the coffee shop, and then we had the houses right in the back. So if we were to cancel the mixed use and just do it all houses and not have any kind of commercial over there. This would be the layout. This would be the entrance right here. And the egress, we're gonna have a gate at the end over here at Hamilton Lane. We would have an egress here. It's just gonna be a metal gate just for emergencies. This area here would have a retention. It's gonna be somewhere here or right where line lots 27, 28, and 48. We're just gonna have to see what the zoning will approve. There's total of 48 lots. And that if the community doesn't want to do the mixed use as well. I don't, you know, I'm still interested in doing the mixed use. But this is my plan B, which everybody was suggesting in the last couple of meetings, just residential. Are you able to see this current screen that has the 48 lots?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm ready for questions though.
So one that I see right away, and this is something we've been having conversations about, the horseshoe look of the road coming in, since it's only that one way in. But have you looked at perhaps circles or something so that cars won't just speed through there?
This is gonna be two-way street, and also if you see this link between lot 28 and 29,
Yes,
see that street there, right there?
right.
This is this can be a shortcut, but the street is gonna be two-way street.
Okay, so then that leads itself into people coming in on that straightaway and going fast. So one of the things that we sometimes talk about when we're dealing with calming is either some speed bumps in there
Yeah,
or a little traffic circle or just something so where there's a long stretch of road, cars
Yeah.
won't just come in and that's all.
yes, and I spoke to the engineer, and he said it's possible we're gonna have a couple of the speed bumps over there.
Okay, great. Somebody asked in the chat, who are you looking at to build these homes?
Who am I looking at building these homes?
Yes, they want.
Okay, I'm building a house. I'm building two houses right next to each other, and the person that's building me the houses is doing a great job over there in 37211. And he will be the same person that will build them to me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I just turned my mute back on so that if other people
So-
had questions and
So
whatever.
he'll be the same person that's building this development for me.
Well, I posted the question, what's the name of the development or the builder? Is it a building company or is it just one person?
He's a contractor. He's a general contractor. His name is Samuel.
And could we see, so you said he's building one of your houses? What address did you
Yes.
say it is?
Yeah, he's building two houses for me in 37211
But what's the street?
Old Goins Road.
Old what?
Old Goins Road. OLD and then Goins. GOINS Road.
Okay.
And also he'll probably take over another project that I'm building in Smyrna as well.
Would you have an HOA for those homes?
Yes, we're gonna have HOA, we're gonna have bylaws and restrictions. And it will probably be a gated community. We're gonna have a patrol over there.
Will it be a rental community or a home ownership community?
No, it will be a rental, and we're not allowing investors to buy there to rent. It's gonna be restricted for just single families. owners.
Well, wait a second, you just
Right.
you just said something I don't know you can actually do. Do you mean that it is going to be a rental community?
No,
Okay, so it's not a rent, it's a home ownership community.
it's a home ownership community, and we're gonna have restrictions on the HOA for rent.
Gotcha. One of the things, Sammy, that the planners are actually supposed to take into consideration that they don't do very well is this thing about comparability. Is the product that's going to be created comparable to developments in the surrounding areas?
Sure.
That's actually written in the state law. I can share some of the pictures that I've got of the surrounding areas to talk about that with everybody, if that's okay, Council Lady?
If that's okay with Sammy, since it's his presentation, then that's fine with me. But I will
Sure.
tell you, one of the things that I tell developers, and I know it's supposed to be comparable, but I always tell them comparable or better, because in our community, we have a lot of homes that may have been built sometime back, and now materials are better, different things are better. So when you all look at the pictures, don't think of buildings that look just like that, but we want to start moving up. Not that there's anything wrong with those already there, but time has lapsed, and so improvements are there. So we want to do a little improve things.
And we are in full agreement on that accord, Council Lady. In fact, that's what we're recommending. That's how we can increase the quality of life for all of Antioch, is by creating some higher levels of quality than what may exist today. Let me see if I can, I'm just, let's see, can I?
You might have to get Mr. Said to transfer the host to you, John.
Oh,
Well, if you don't mind, John, I was
Okay.
gonna share some of the
please.
elevations that we have here, and I discussed with my engineer.
Yes, please
Good,
finish your part
good.
first.
Go for it, buddy.
And part of it that we hadn't talked about because he was doing something else, but we always talk about the setbacks of the garages, the materials on the house, all those type of things. So when you all look at it, don't think that that just goes by. It's just that because he was looking at something else, we hadn't spent a whole lot of time discussing that.
Are you able to see that screen?
Yes,
The screen that has the one-story house?
yes.
Okay. So basically, this is how my one-story house will look like. I got another one right here. Are you able to see the second one?
Yes.
These are hardy board. But some of the community members wanted to have the front as bricks. And I'm willing to accommodate for that and just do the front bricks. And the siding will not be vinyl, it will be hardy board. Hardy board can live for 50 years, it's made of concrete. And it's a better quality than the plastic vinyl siding. And that's what I have done with the most recent house that I've been building in 37211 in Nashville. This is the 2-story. I don't see a green on my screen. I'm not sure if I'm sharing it or not, but are you able to see the 2-story house?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And this is another elevation that I have. But we will be changing the front to brick. However, I really like it the way it is right now, but I'm just willing to satisfy everybody's suggestions. It's almost the same cost.
Sam, hi, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, hi. My husband, I was wanting to know, is it just gonna be a one-sided brick, or what is the accommodations there for that?
it will be front brick and the sides will be hardy board.
Just the front, okay.
The hardy board is different than the vinyl.
Right,
Vinyl is very fragile. It's a very cheap material. The hardy board can live up to 50 years or even more.
And that may be something that we, as we continue to look at them, that we talk to about. It may be, if you have brick front, then maybe halfway around the back and in the sides. Because one thing that we had talked about, that look where the front is just brick, and then they try to fool you that the rest of it is, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, it's not. So that we want the aesthetics to be constant around. So that may be
Yes.
another conversation that can be had as well.
Sure.
So since I don't hear any questions right now, what I will ask you all is to have a little bit of conversation. You know, when Mr. Saeed came, I don't know, can I be heard?
Yes.
Okay, so I want you all to have a little bit of conversation. When Mr. Saeed first brought this to us with the mixed use, there was a lot of pushback with the mixed use. So now he's changing it up a little bit. So maybe some of you, if you don't have specific questions, just may have some comments about how you feel about the changing it up a little bit and doing, I think you said, Mr. Saeed, 48 houses?
Yes, there'll be 48 lots.
And if you saw the overall view, if there are some other things that you want to suggest that he do to help in that area, get out in the road, turning lanes, or any specific things, like I talked about the roundabout or the speed bumps, any specific things like that that you may want to share now that you're thinking about in the back of your mind that may help that area, if you go ahead and put it out in the conversation with us now.
Councilmember Lee, this is Larry.
Yes, please, sir.
A couple of questions. Sammy,
Yes, sir.
what experience do you and your proposed builder have with this size of a development?
I myself, with this size of the development, the maximum I did was 4 houses. But my builder's been doing this for over 15 years now.
But this is a large development.
Yes,
And I don't think that the neighbors would want it to take, 4, 5, 6 years to completely build out. Most developments get built out in about 2 years.
this is not gonna take me 4 years or 3 years. Probably after I just develop the land, it'll probably be a year and a half to get the whole project done. I cannot afford getting a loan and just make payments for 4 years and just let it stall. I'll be losing money. I have to get it done quickly.
And then the second question is,
Yes, sir.
the traffic that could back up in that development, looking at lot 1, lot 2, I could see motorists trying to get out of the development, blocking those driveways during peak traffic times.
Let me take a look at lot 1 and lot 2. Sorry.
Since you brought that up, Larry, do you have any suggestions on that particularly?
No, I
Lot 1,
really-
I see.
I really don't. I mean, I'm just looking at that space north of lot 1. And I can't get a sense of how deep that is or how many cars could stack in that space.
Well, this is gonna have the fire retention.
Right.
And this is what the engineer suggested. And he said it could, of course, it depends on the approval of the city engineers as well. And he said we can put it where lot 26, 27, and 28 are in that area. So we got the 2 options, but some of it will be like visitor parking. And
Okay.
it will also act as just a reservoir for just someone has a car that broke, you can just push it there and put it there instead of blocking. But this road is gonna be large road. You can fit 2 cars next to each other each side.
Okay.
So even if one car park in the street, which is gonna be prevented by the HOA, you're gonna have very tough restrictions.
Yeah, I'm not talking about parking. I'm just talking about in the morning when residents are trying to get out during rush hour, how that traffic could stack up. Just an observation. That's about all it is.
Well, the traffic is not gonna stack up. They're only, there are 48 homes. And the chance of everybody coming out at the same time is just, I would say we probably have like 5 cars at the time.
Okay.
But we are putting speed bumps over there. We're having visitor parking. At least we're gonna put 10 for visitors at the beginning, right there in this area. And
Yep.
if we don't, if we move the buyer attention to lot 27, 28 and 26, we'll have more of a parking in that area.
Are those roads going to be privately owned, or are you anticipating that they will be accepted and by
Well,
Metro?
they're gonna have to be accepted by Metro.
Well, then that may affect the speed bumps.
And they wanted to close it to be a private road. I mean, private with a code. You can't do that on a public street.
Right. I mean,
Um,
Metro would have to put in really the speed humps, not speed bumps.
Yeah, I think we're using the wrong term. I think speed humps is the correct terminology. I think Larry and Melissa are correct on that.
But would Metro adopt that if that was built?
It's part of their standards. We're calling it traffic calming by design.
But
Okay.
how can you put a gated, how can you make it a gated community with public streets?
That's a
I
good
mean, if you
question.
can, that's great, but I thought you couldn't.
If we're able to close the end of it, where lot 13 and 12, we have to put a gate over there because we're not gonna leave it just for through traffic, as people doesn't want a street over there. So we're gonna have to close it over here and just leave it open in the other end right there. But
Oh,
this is gonna be only for emergencies though.
so
The
it's
gate
not a
will
gated
open-
community.
the gate will be open only in case of emergencies. If we have a fire, God forbid, if we have a fire and the fire department is closer that way, we open the gate that way and have them come quicker.
We just have a different definition of a gated community. So I think, Melissa, now you see what he's talking about, a gated
Right,
community.
right. I thought,
We'll we'll have a gate and we will have a patrol there. We're gonna have the security that will come every now and then just to check on it. And that will be covered with the HOA as well.
So you are doing this with us to see how what we think. You actually have not taken it to planning yet, or have you?
Well, I have taken it to planning based on the last two meetings and just for, I seen everybody's welcoming the residential. They didn't want commercial and mixed use, which disappointed me. I had lots of hopes and I had big plans for the community in that area. And I hope in the future, District 33 will have that mixed use. I'm a member of the district and I really support the mixed use. I really like it when I see it in Brentwood and other areas. And I hope, our community will have the right idea and, about the mixed use. The mixed use will bring, add on to the community. It's just gonna improve the community. Is not against the community or anything.
But
You're exactly right, Sammy. Mixed use communities create opportunities for people to shop,
A lot.
eat,
Yes.
and live in the same area where they
Exactly.
put their head down at night. And it's just right now it's a little different. It's a difficult transition, especially at that particular site. I think is difficult for people to get their arms around. But
Right. I go, sometimes I have to go to Nashville City and Brentwood just to meet my clients there where they have, the mixed use area. It's just beautiful and nice and very classy. I see it as an add-on to the communities and I hope one day we'll see it in our community here in 33.
and it's all brick if you take note. It's not just
Sure.
the front, it's the
I'm-
whole side.
all-
The whole building is brick.
I can, I can just pull my, the application from residential and just do it mixed use. If you can approve that, I can come back to the same project. I hope so.
Sammy, to Councilmember Lee's point, you've had discussions with Metro Planning Department, but you have not yet formally filed the rezoning request and paid the application fee, correct?
I already filed the rezoning request just for residential. At that time, I didn't do the mixed use because I knew it was gonna be controversial. I didn't want to, withdraw my application and then the fee and so, yeah, I did not apply for the mixed use.
Okay. And right now, you're the sole developer on this, the sole person. You don't have
Yes,
any
sir.
partners or anything else involved.
No, sir, it's just me.
What's it gonna take to bond just the infrastructure for that, Sammy. Have you looked at the cost
Yes,
of bonding
Yes,
that?
yes, I did.
You care to tell us about it?
It's gonna cost me about 1.5 million.
To-
Just to get the infrastructure of this project done.
To do the infrastructure, but you also have to get a bond just in case, God forbid that you
Yeah.
aren't able to finish it out. You've got to provide Metro with assurances in the form of a bond that the infrastructure will be created.
Yes, that's including the bond and everything.
Well, I know who to come get a loan from.
I will get a loan for sure on that.
No one brought this up, so I'm still interested in, especially since we've got that one-way in, that Anderson Road. Have you done a traffic study yet? And did they talk about turning lanes or widening any parts of the road or anything that will make that getting in and out easy?
Since the project is less than 50 lots, they're not requiring traffic study. Because
Okay.
the project is very small. But this is not like the final plan. They gonna have to approve it. They're gonna have to, put comments there. And we're gonna have quite a few changes there.
Right. So I have another question, because
Yes,
all
ma'am.
of this is interesting to me and is still quite new to me. I know it is not your intention, but suppose you sell this to somebody else, or something happens and somebody else has to buy it. I just want to make sure that whatever the zoning is, that we've got everything in there, if it has to be an SP or whatever it has to be, that we have everything in there so that the quality and things that we are talking to you about will still be there, and whoever buys it can't then change and just put up any kind of thing.
I'm not selling this. I'm just gonna develop it myself, but I'm very open. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, I can do. I mean, we can sign a document saying this has to be front brick, and we're gonna have to have hardy board instead of vinyl. I don't mind at all.
Those type of things have to be in the SP, correct? Because I know it's not your intention, but
Yeah,
life is so short, you never know what happens.
sure. I really don't mind at all.
I think we're looking at a couple of things, some things that Metro can incorporate into Council Lady Lee's rezoning document, which would probably be either an SP or a regulatory SP. But then the items in the HOA documentation that would be attached to the deed at the time of the rezoning, concurrent with rezoning. That's how we tidy these things up. There's this great example of a 30-year-old agreement between a neighborhood group and a developer, Bell Road at Blue Hole Road. And 30 years later, the issues that Council Lady Lee was talking about, how do we ensure that what we're talking about today actually gets built? They were incorporated 30 years ago, so they're going to get built that way. It's an amazing thing, and hopefully, if Council Lady Lee allows us, we'll be able to work with you to develop those kinds of
Sure.
documents.
John,
No problem. No problem at all, John.
the application before Metro Planning is a rezone from AR2A to RS75
Yes.
for both parcels. So it is not currently submitted as an SP, So we don't have any of those safeguards if it were to be approved based on the current zone change application.
I think we can put restrictions on
Have to be
buildings.
added.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just want to make sure that we understand what the current application is.
Larry's exactly right.
It's not an SP, huh?
No,
Yeah,
It's
we
not-
hadn't talked about making it an SP before. I guess, opened my mouth. And we hadn't talked about the specifics to put in it to be an SP. So
It's
Yeah,
RS 0.75, Ms. Lee, and if you want to put any restrictions on the deed, we can put restrictions on the deed. I don't mind.
right. So thank you, Larry, for bringing that up. But yeah,
alrighty.
Good point, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Council Lady Lee and Sam, just a
Yeah,
quick
Ms.
question
Lee.
for you, Sam. This is Miss Gladys. My two questions that I have. The first one is, where about exactly on Anderson Road would this development go? We had tried to sign in and got in a little later here, on the link. So we didn't quite catch the location of the area. And what would be your price range for the home?
The price range for the homes will be in the 300 range. Just developing the land will take about probably a year just to develop just the land to make it ready for building on it. And, things might change, but it's gonna be in the 300 range.
on Anderson
It's,
Road, but can you describe to us kind of so that we can understand where, besides just the address, kind of where that's going to be? I think.
the address, yeah, the address is 3165 Anderson Road. 3165, there's a house and the land is right behind the house.
What is it like in between? Do you know where that is, Miss Gladys?
Can you pull up a map?
No, I don't, Council Lady Lee. Do you know, Melissa?
Yes, I think that's very close to us.
See, I'm bad with the
It's-
map. I need landmarks.
Tammy, can you give me the
Yeah.
screen for a second?
That way he can pull up a
Sure.
map so he can see it.
I've
Well,
got a
he-
couple of maps pulled up already.
While he's doing that, I also just want to point out that in Council District 29, nearly directly across the street at 3156 Anderson Road,
Yes.
Roy Dale and Associates have requested a rezoning for 22 multifamily units. So, the combination of the 48 and the 22 gets us to 70 combined. And still that doesn't hit what Metro requires for a traffic study, but it does have a huge impact.
Yeah, it's still 600 trips per day coming out of those two developments.
And directly across from one another, that makes the turning a little bit more sketchy.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Council Lady Lee, I had reached out to Council Lady Porterfield about the development across the street. I mean, it's like directly across the street. And she was going to include us in the conversation, but I haven't heard anything of late. Maybe you could chat with her and see about how could we make sure that we're kind of all doing the right thing.
Are you able to see my
I thought we
screen? now?
weren't putting up any more apartments.
I think they're duplexes.
Attached townhouses, you mean?
Very well could be.
Hmm.
I haven't looked into detail into Roy's layout.
Ms. Gladys says 2.5 miles from Lakeside Cove. So 2.5 miles from us.
Okay, so is it like between, before we get to Compton in that direction, or?
It's like if you were going through Long Hunter Chase across,
Okay.
and then you go, around the loop all around. And I mean, it's just, kind of tricky to get there, but it's really close.
Sammy, if you can give me the screen,
Sure, go ahead.
okay.
Okay, so is it straight across the four-way stop there at Anderson and Smith Springs in that direction?
Yes,
Okay,
but then you
Okay.
go in through little streets and
right,
to the left.
Yeah,
So it's
Right.
parallel to Hobson Pike.
okay. And I have a question also, kind of back to what Larry's question was there, and, speaking about the traffic being kind of sketchy. It really is because because Anderson Road between Anderson and Smith Springs, that traffic is very, discombobulated, it's just kind of tunnel through there. Real busy area.
Sounds like to me, since right across the street, another district is putting up quite a few townhomes. Sounds like to me that one of the things we need to be pushing is that, because that's much larger than what Mr. Said is looking at, that they may want to be looking at doing a traffic signal or something to help with that traffic instead of just us looking at it, since their density is going to be much larger and impact Anderson Road a lot.
Well, actually, their density it's a smaller lot, and 22 homes is what the application calls for. Just to
Okay.
clarify,
22 townhomes?
22, I think it said multifamily homes. I don't have that screen up.
Yeah.
This is probably, both of these locations are probably about an eighth of a mile west of where Town Village Road comes out. So on Anderson Road, if you're familiar with,
And Rosie, if you're there, if you could let me share, I got the visual right here.
good,
Okay,
No, somebody pull up a map, please.
Yeah, I got one.
Mr. Said will need to transfer it to you,
Thank you.
Mr. Stern.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I thought I transferred it.
May have to talk him through it, Rosie.
Just click on John's screen and then it should say make host.
So where you see John at the top, his picture, just click on that.
Should be some little dots, like a little 3 dots, maybe click on those.
Okay, so the 3 blue dots are going to be in the right upper part. So if you click on that, Mr. Said, if he clicks on that, it says chat and pin, correct?
His won't, his should say,
Should say
Okay,
Transfer host, yeah.
yeah, transfer host.
okay.
What an interesting world we live in, huh?
Are you able to see that, Mr. Said?
I don't see any transfer host right there. I only see chat, security, here, record, transfer host. I don't see any transfer host.
Oh, well, we can do this without technology.
I can share my screen. I have the Google Maps here. I can show where exactly the land lot.
Great, 3165 Anderson Road.
Yeah.
It'll pull it up, it'll pull it right up.
Well, Miss Gladys left, so she's the one that wanted to see.
So that's where.
Pop it to her, let her know where it was.
So it's right, very close to Alice Lane,
right.
right there. And this is where the house is at. And this is where the land is at.
All the trees.
All the
Sammy,
trees.
scroll right on your map screen, because right there is the curve in Anderson Road.
Yep.
Yeah.
See where Town Village comes out?
Yeah.
So, and
Right
then
there.
the other development by Dale and Associates is directly across the street. And their plan is to connect that to Alicia Lane.
Hmm.
So, I
Oh,
you look at the traffic that could create and the different turns that people are going to be trying to make.
On a curve.
It's after the curve, and there is, I will say, there's decent visibility as long as people aren't barreling 60 miles an hour.
So I've got to jump off in a minute, Sammy.
go ahead.
Can we get back together somehow, a few of us, and kind of list the restrictions that Council Lady Lee has identified and some of the other ones that we're concerned about as well, and start that process?
Sure.
John,
That's on there. I'd like to ask everybody that's on here, you've heard the conversations, and maybe somebody can share it with Ms. Gladys too. So if any of you all, because I don't want it to be just a handful of people giving their 2 cents on this. So anybody who's looking at this, if you had some thoughts maybe that you didn't want to share, but that you think would be good for that spot, please also share that with us. You can share it with me on my email or send it to Rosie, wherever, so that we can get it to Mr. Said, because I do want the community to be able to weigh in on it as well. And we will most likely have another meeting as well.
Councilmember Lee,
Yes, sir.
can we legally in the restrictions say that this property cannot be sold to a corporate rental development company?
No.
I do not think
Yeah.
so. I think it is part of what you have to, when you're talking about restrictive covenants and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It is part of what the developer can agree to with you, but no, it can't be like put in the SP or anything like that.
Okay. All right.
If it's put in the HOA bylaws, no one can
Yes.
break it. You
Yes.
cannot.
Okay, but you
It can't
can't.
be a part of the metro
Okay.
whole thing.
All right. Understood.
All right, so we have about 5 minutes. Is there anything in the wrap up, Sammy, that you want to share with people who are listening?
Nothing. It's just I had lots of hopes that we can come back and talk about the mixed use, and I'm all for the mixed use, but whatever the community wants, I'll just go by. And if you rethink about it, I'm willing to pull my application from the residential and just still do mixed use.
Sounded like the last conversation, a lot of the community was against the mixed use. It's kind of funny because when I first started out, that's what everybody wanted. And that's a part of the conversation about if you have some homes, make sure you have some shops, not strip malls, but some nice shops, restaurants and things in front. So I know our conversation was that. And one of the things that we always put up is like Lenox Village, but now they've got some wonderful new places in Nolansville that you were talking about, like where there are restaurants and different things right at the end of the complex, Burkett's complex and stuff. So I would really as well like to see some of those kind of nice things in our area, but it sounded like we may not be ready for it yet. I hope we get ready for it before everybody else around us does it, and then we're just like the last ones trying to stick something in.
I also think that, if I may,
Sure.
there wasn't a lot of support because you didn't have any drawings or pictures of what the market that you were suggesting was gonna be? Like, it was just like a market, but then you think of all these carnicerias, the Mexican markets, and we don't need that. We don't need more of those. Like, it didn't sound like you were gonna do something very nice upscale. So
Yeah.
maybe if you would have brought something super nice, and you just said it was gonna be a market and a cafe,
Yeah.
but it could be just some tables there on an ugly building.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything. So you really, I think you didn't prepare enough visuals to get support.
Um,
My fault, because what I tell the developers when they come is to be open and listen to what the community wants, so that are you willing to just build and do what they want? So some of them, so I'm changing now and telling them to come with something, but that might have been my fault, because we talked and I said, listen to what they want and don't bring anything. So my bad.
at the beginning, initially, that first meeting we had, it was just to see what the reaction of the people in the community and what they will say about it. But I'm talking as Sammy, the member of District 33. What does it take in the future to convince our community to do the mixed use? Mixed use is very important. It's becoming a trend everywhere now. Great cities have it. We should have it. We should look into it.
I think you need a bigger street. You need a bigger street. You need lots of visuals, something nice. I don't think anybody would oppose to that, but that little street, you're not gonna get enough clients. So it's just gonna close down. You're gonna go under.
Okay, it is 6:59 now. I want to thank everybody for being on this. The way this ended, it sounds like there's going to be another meeting and some more conversation, but Mr. Said said he's willing to also talk with the community, and it sounded like he'd already walked around and talked to some people in the immediate area, but he's open to talking with other community members about different things. And anybody who's on this call, please make sure to send in anything to him, because I know he's open, and I really appreciate you all being on this. I want to tell you, kind of changing the subject a little bit, I want you to be safe when you go out in crowds. Please still wear your mask, because one thing that we're hearing is that the Delta variant is out there and is very aggressive, and you don't know what it is at first. You might just look like it's pneumonia or something, because there's not any major symptoms at first, but it's also, what did they say, airborne, so it's not like the other one. So I guess that means if somebody walked in front of you who had it, and you're thinking, well, nobody's right here behind me, and I'm going to walk without my mask. So please, you all be careful. And I will ask, we've got, well, it is 7 o'clock. We don't have a minute, but I am going to ask if you can do it in a minute, because I don't think John can talk for just like a minute, just shortly. But if you can, John, because I haven't talked to her in a while, I was hoping she'd be on. Give us a very quick update on Tawana, please.
Yeah, Tawana continues to post on the Cane Ridge Community Club webpage, Facebook page. So if you like, you can go to that and, watch a number of the videos. I think she does a video at least one a day.
Oh, wow.
She's doing better. She's out of the intensive care unit and into a new room. I think this is room number 4 or number 5 for her. It's been a interesting challenge going about Vanderbilt, learning all about the children's hospital and the adults hospital. And hopefully she will be going into the rehabilitation phase, if not already, very soon.
Great. Please let her know that we were thinking about her and was hoping to see her, and are praying that everything goes by really fast and she's better.
And she really appreciated your thoughtful
Oh,
discussion with her about her situation. And so
oh,
she was very appreciative of that, Council Lady Lee.
well, thank you. Thank you. We're all here for each other. So I want everybody to pray for her, and everybody, even though they haven't been saying it, a lot of people have been asking about her and have good thoughts for her. So,
Thank you.
okay, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.
Thank you all. Thank
And
you.
thank you so much, Rosie. Love you, Rosie. Take care of yourself. Rest.
Thank you.
Bye, Rosie.
Bye.
Bye, Rosie.
Bye, Mr. Said.